Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Welcome again to our Wednesday 15 minutes podcast. Remember, we started this series of teaching on Monday on the subject of the law of sowing and reaping. And I said to us, when we took our text from Luke 6, we took our text from Luke 6:30, and where we discover, if you are just starting with us, just go back to Monday 15 minutes podcast. If you are watching me on YouTube, and if you have subscribed, but if you have not subscribed, please press the subscription button. The bell comes and press on the bell. What do you have to lose? Nothing. What do you have to gain? Everything. Like what? Every time the 15 minutes podcast is ready, YouTube will always send you a notification, meaning that you can always follow us up on this series. So please go back to Monday podcast so that you'll be able to follow us from today. You'll be able to follow today's podcast. So we took a text from Luke 6:30 to 38. That I said to us on that Monday that most of the time we always read Luke 6 from verse 38. Now you see, because we read it out of context, we did not get a full understanding of the law of sowing and reaping. The law is a statement that says under certain conditions, certain things happen. Under certain conditions, certain things happen. Now, but we have discovered that this law of sowing and reaping affects 6 areas of our lives. 6 areas of our lives. But mostly, the church teach only on the giving. And do you know what? And we do not maximize it. And because we teach only on giving, we thought that this law is between God and man. No. The law of sowing and reaping has nothing to do between you and God. The law of sowing and reaping has something to do between you and your fellow man. Okay. So we continue from that Luke 6:36, where it says, "Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful." So mercy is the first thing on the list. And I explained to you what is a mercy. Mercy is given. Mercy is not giving somebody the punishment that they deserve. Now somebody committed an offense and they probably were supposed to pay $50,000, but you know what? You showed mercy and said, okay, they can pay $5,000 instead of $50,000. You showed mercy. Now, another day, you also committed an offense and then you were arrested. This time around, you are supposed to pay $100,000. But do you know, because they recognized that you showed mercy that day, you also will be made to pay probably $10,000. Do you know that? It's the law. It's the law of the universe. Now, if you show it somewhere, you will reap it in another place. If you show it somewhere, you will reap it in another place. So you see, so work with this law of sowing and reaping. It's not only applicable to money, it's mercy. Everywhere you have opportunity to show mercy to people, show it. There's a law of the universe that will always catch up with you. So God said, Jesus said, "Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful." So if you learn to show mercy to people, you will always reap it. You will always spirit it. So how you judge all others, how you condemn others, how you forgive others, how you give forgiveness to others, also these 3 are in that passage. Now look at Luke 6:30. All these 3 in that Luke 6:37. The first one on the list is mercy. It's mercy. Now there are other 3 also that follows it in verse 37. Look at what he said in Luke 6:37. "Judge not, and ye shall not be judged." Did you see that? In the law of sowing and reaping, judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Now what does he say? Now listen to me. You are with a group of people, and then they decided to pass judgment over somebody, and you also join them in passing the judgment. Do you know what? You are going to reap it one day. People are going to sit down somewhere in life passing judgment over you, and do you know what? That judgment will be passed because what? You have not sown a seed of judging not. But you see, if you are with people who are trying to pass judgment on somebody, and then you probably say, you know what? Human beings are human beings. Maybe that is the woman's side of his life. For example, probably they want to pass a judgment over a man of God. And you now say, you know, he's a man of God. Let's not pass judgment over him. They say, why? He said, maybe that is the man's side of him, being a man of God. Do you know what? You have excused him. You didn't allow them to pass that judgment. You have seen a reason why he should not be judged. Now listen to me. You are going to reap it. You have just operated under a law called the law of sowing and reaping. Just like I said, you drove against the traffic, the road safety arrested you, and then they just opened the law and say a statement says when you drive without your seat belt, you pay $5,000. You pay $5. You see, that is law. So the day you have opportunity not to judge somebody and you judge them, you are just written a law against your life. One day you are going to be judged, and that day you might need to escape it. But do you know why you will not escape it? Because you have activated the law of sowing and reaping, which is going to work against you. Now the first one is mercy, the second one is judgment, then the third one is condemnation. Is condemnation. When you have opportunity today to condemn somebody, how did you do it? You condemn them totally beyond repairs, because you are in a position to condemn. Do you know what? You have just activated the law of sowing and reaping. Do you know what? You are going to reap it. One day on this earth, before you die, one day you will fall a victim of being condemned. And do you know what? Like you saw in that Luke 6:38, it's going to come to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, shall men also condemn you. I'm going to show you. That Luke 6:38 is not only affecting give, it affects mercy, it affects judgment, it affects condemnation. And then the fourth on the list, mercy is the first, judgment is the second, condemnation is the third. The fourth is forgiveness to others. Today somebody offended you, and for a whole 1 week you refuse to forgive them. In fact, some people will go to 1 year, you refuse to forgive them. My brother, there's a law, like the law of force of gravity. You are ignorantly operating a law of sowing and reaping against your life. That's what you are doing. But you didn't know. Do you know what? You're going to have opportunity one day. You're going to fall a victim one day, where you will offend somebody and they will need to forgive you. And do you know what? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, the offense is there. Then you will need it. Probably that day you will just run into them. You will go for an interview. You passed. And then somebody mistakenly mention your name to that individual. And the individual say, the so and so come for an interview. Say yes, and you are going to employ. Say, it's very good, you are going to employ. Say, don't employ him. He said he has the spirit of unforgiveness. And do you know what? If that happens in your company, he will never forgive anybody, because he doesn't forgive. He said, really? He said, yes. You can lose that job. You lose that job. How? Because you sow a seed of unforgiveness, and you have just reaped it now. You have just reaped it. So you see, this four has nothing to do with God. They have something to do with man. This four. Mercy is not to God, it's to man. Judging, you can't judge God. What you can judge is man. You can't condemn God, you can only condemn men. You cannot forgive God, you can only forgive men. Now listen to me. In that same context, we are now going to verse 38, which is the fifth one on the same list. He said, give, and it shall be given unto you. Do you see that? Look at the first one. Be merciful, as your Father also is merciful. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Look at 38. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Very, very brief. Like the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one. Period. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Now listen to me. Giving also operates under the law of sowing and reaping. But do you know what? Not between you and God. Just like the other four did not operate between you and God. Just like the other four did not operate between you and God. Now listen to this. If you don't show mercy, the day is coming, you will need it, you won't get it. No matter how much you cry, you won't get it. Number two, you judge people. The day is coming, people will judge you. That day you will beg, you won't get it. You will get full judgment. Number three, you like to condemn people. Listen to me. Don't put product in the market. People will condemn it. Your own will be international. Number four, you are living with the spirit of unforgiveness. You won't go far in life. Listen to me. If you can't give forgiveness, you will never get one. No matter who you are, no matter how much you cry, no matter how much you speak in tongues, it won't come to you. You see, it operates under the law of sowing and reaping. Number five, give. Hey, listen to me. You hate giving. You hate to give. Listen to me. You pour super glue in your hand so that everything that comes to you, you gum them. You're going to be a loser in life. You know why? Because you see, that law of giving and receiving will work against you. When you have an opportunity to receive, you will lose it. Why? Because you are working against the law of sowing and reaping. It's not between you and God, though. It's between you and man. Mercy is between you and man. Judgment is between you and man. Condemnation is between you and man. Forgiveness is between you and man. This giving also is between you and man. Listen to me. Love to give. Love to give. You cannot isolate giving from the remaining four. It's about your relationship with man and not with God. The same law of sowing and reaping guides all of them, and they are all five guided by the final statement in that Luke 6:38. In that Luke 6:38, he said, "Give and it shall be given unto you." The same way he says, "Judge." He said, "Judge not and it shall not be judged. Condemn not and it shall not be condemned. Forgive and it shall be forgiven. Give and it shall be given unto you." Now listen to this. The last statement that says, "Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet, whither it shall be measured to you again." This refers to mercy, judgment, condemnation, forgiveness, and lastly giving. So the law of sowing and reaping affects how you get from there. You are at fault. You are at fault. Is men not given to you? What are you doing with the law of sowing and reaping? You are at fault if men don't give to you. Now, what are you doing with the law of sowing and reaping? A law is a statement that says under certain conditions, certain things happen. Did you see that? So if men are not given to you, if you discover people are not given to you in life, ask yourself a question. You are working against the law of sowing and reaping. You need to reverse the case. Start giving. It will start coming to you. Not to God. Start giving to men. Start giving to men everywhere. Start giving to men. Start sowing everywhere. You begin to reap. Do you know what? I've just run out of time now. Wow. There's more to come on the law of sowing and reaping. Listen to me. It affects your prosperity on earth. So join me again on Friday when we continue on this subject of the law of sowing and reaping. From me here, I want to tell you that Jesus Christ is Lord.